Go live, go live. I'm live, I'm live, I'm live, I'm live. All right. I'm live, I'm live, I'm live. I am live. Yep, yep. It's been a minute, so I will wait until the midnight hour. John Lance, what's up, brother? What's up, brother? I'm glad you are here, man. Yep. We're going to wait for a few more folks to pop into the room and then we're going to do things. We're going to do things. We're going to talk about things. That's what we're going to do. We're going to talk about things. Yes, sir. So, John Lance, what's going on with you, man? New gear. Hope you're. Yeah, I'm doing good, man. I'm doing good. It's I'm in post-COVID mode. You know what is the irony is that last year this time we were like, okay, it's gonna be over, not gonna be over. This thing is dragging out, and now being all well, I got one of my vaccinations. I have to do the second, and then now the work is piling on. It's like anything insane, man. So it is what it is, man. Let me adjust this mic. I'm on a shotgun today. Chris Irwin Davis, howdy from Texas. What's up, homie? How are you? Hope all is good. But yeah, man. Whole heck of a lot is happening. Man, I gotta get back to work. I'm just, it's a funny thing. Like I said, last year was one situation. Now that everything is starting to open back up, people are starting to re-engage. Uh, all the work, and it's crazy because I'm not complaining. Don't get me wrong. Thank God for the work. But all the work that was backed up from last year, now the calls are starting to come back in. Can we get back to work? But I have to make sure that certain protocols are in place because I'm kind of limited in the amount of people I can entertain in the space at one time. Plus, like I said, with the post-COVID, you got to make sure that those circumstances are in place. You want to protect yourself, your interests, your business, and at the same time, kind of like just plan for the next step. Now, one thing that I did do that I'm not really regretting, but it's kind of made me rethink a few things. Last year in my boredom, about I undertook the renovation of the studio, and what I'm finding out, now that the work is starting to come back in, I need to redo a few other things, and it's not like I threw good money after bad. That's not the case. But what it is, that my workflow is changing because of the work that I'm doing. I have a lot of arranging projects now, and I don't have the setup for notation anymore because Avid, with their bright selves, decided to the not subscription, the software that I purchased, Sibelius 7, is no longer usable with my current platforms. That being, I got a laptop for Mac, Big Sur, and I'm still on Mojave. So now I have to go out and buy more software. Um, the interfaces that I was using with my laptop, Focusrite stuff, doesn't work. The drivers aren't perfect. That's another issue, which means if I wanted to use a laptop in a scaled down situation, I can't. Why? Because now it won't communicate with the MIDI interface. So all these little issues are popping up one after the other, and I'm trying to simplify circumstances because I gotta get back to work. I have one project that I was working on this week, right? And it's an arranging project, kind of interesting. It's challenging me because it's a genre of music that I don't flow in that often, but it's not above my ability to do the job. But it's gonna definitely take me uh through some you know changes, if you will, and just glad to be here, man. And I hope you all got your shot. Stop with the nonsense about metal sticking to your arm because of microchips. That's whack. You guys need to knock it off. Okay? Um, yes, if you didn't get the shot, when you get your shot, the first one, arm's gonna be sore for a little bit. You might feel a little symptoms. Shake it off. Keep it moving. But by and large, you should be fine. Shot number 2, not looking forward to it, but I need it because I am tired of wearing a mask and this whole situation with, the social distancing thing. You know, okay, I think it's being overplayed at this point now that we have that's my opinion. Now that we have the vaccine. But so what's going on, folks? I've been doing my thing, trying to reshape a few things. So what's going on, yo? I see Mr. Pirate Brain is into his Izzy. What's up, man? I haven't been hiding anywhere, man. I've been here, man. Just sculling out next moves, because brother's pockets was light last year, quite a bit, But thank God the phone is on the ring again. But Chris Irwin Davis said, "Great, I found a used Focusrite red one. Oh, cool, yeah, man." Folks are funny, man. They be leaving these really good preamps on eBay, selling them for next to nothing on Reverb. Psst. I saw the Focusrite Red, the rack mount unit, the 4 mic pre's, killer unit. I saw one for like about 2 G's, and I'm like, wow. You could find them at such a low price. I mean, if you see it, you should grab it, if you do. But John Lance, new gear. Yeah, now let me just give you a little background on what's been going on with me though, with regards to the channel. And for those of you who don't really quite know how YouTube works. YouTube is based on an algorithm, that affects more than one metric. I'm not going to get into all that. There's plenty of videos for you to peruse on YouTube to find out about how the algorithm works. But, since last year to about this year, same time or same time frame, if you will, there are 2 types of people on YouTube, 3 types, I would say. Those who are here strictly for entertainment, those who are here to educate, and those who are there to do pretty much like reviews of whatever it is that they're reviewing, be it tech reviews for equipment, phones, or computers, or anything for that matter. Okay. About 2.5 years ago, I'll say, I was one of the first adopters of Worm's venturing into doing British microphone preamps in the style of Neve 1073. That was the video that catapulted my channel pretty much. After that, YouTube kept steadily feeding the video based on demand to the YouTube searching public via Google, via whatever, because Google owns YouTube. Now, fast forward to right now, what has happened, those who want to get into doing YouTube because they think it's a lot of money, and it's not. Okay, all right. It's not a lot of money. They think they're going to get rich quick, or, they have a scheme that they're trying to game in order to do it. There are a lot of people that are doing warm audio videos, okay? Reviews of whatever equipment that they just bought. Okay. So now the playing field has increased with players doing the same thing. So when that happens, like in anything, when you have market saturation, there's a lot of people doing that thing right now. So what I've decided to do is step back and redefine. And I don't know if you guys have been on the community board. You know, I've been asking questions like, "What do you want to hear hear about? What do you want me to talk about?" Etc. Etc. Most will say microphones, compressors, etc. And there's nothing wrong with that. But in my research, what I'm finding is that um, at some point, be it tutorials or reviews or whatever, it becomes a matter of opinion. Okay. And when that happens, it's like, oh, if you're the consumer of YouTube videos, it's like, well, this guy said this, that guy said that. Well, who's the right guy? The only thing left for me to do is go out and buy the thing and use my own judgment. Now, I where I fit in at in terms of my description as a so-called YouTuber, I would say that, and I've said this to the people at I think it was at Cranborn at the time. Uh, I'm more of a end user. I'm not a reviewer, and there are those out there that do strictly reviews. But what people don't know and understand, unless you have the support of a company, okay, and I thank God for the people at Warm Audio who have, between Bryce and Caitlin and Royce when he was there, they welcomed me. I cannot tell you the amount of manufacturers that are like, they either don't respond to emails, or, you know, um, I have my opinion about why they don't respond. I'll keep it to myself. But in the end, unless you got money to go in your pocket to keep buying this stuff, it becomes expensive. It becomes expensive, and I'm not a review channel. So it's like, what's the next thing to do? The only next thing that I know to do is this. I have to venture off into a form of education for the consumer of my content that's going to benefit you and make you a better fill in the blank producer, a better um, musician, a better, you know, um, business person. Now, I tried the business person thing, and there's very few on the community board, as well as doing a series on how to conduct business in the music business. Um, Many people aren't just interested in hearing about that because they have their own way of doing business. You know, if you're trying to survive, and this is where I want you guys to give me feedback in real time. Please help me. How many of you really are trying to make a living in music? And I've said that before in the community board, and the feedback was like, well, I make some money, and there's nothing wrong with that. For some, it's strictly a hobby. But if you are a person and you're tuning in right now, tell me in the comments if that's one of your goals, if it's to, support yourself. as a musician. Because just to be a content creator and to do reviews, that may be all good. But at the same time, how is that helping advance your cause as a musician? And that's what I'm about. I think that's my primary goal when I started was to give you all the benefit of things that I've been through. Now, there are people out there that will give you the benefit of real time information based on whatever it is that they're doing. That's fine. That's their thing. But I have a history behind me that I want to share with you on that level. It's caused me to look at things like the comparison between analog gear and digital gear and the infusion of both in the current dynamic of production, music production. There's a reason why some youngsters are struggling in that area, you know? So, and those of us who are of a certain age who have spent time in the studio, our ears have the benefit of two perspectives. And most kids coming up, they got the benefit of just a laptop, a interface, and Pro Tools. So I'm trying to bridge that gap. It's a lot of needles that I'm trying to thread, and I would rather. I'm gonna be honest with y'all. This is my thing. Anybody who knows me and knows me well will tell you that I hate wasting time. I hate wasting anyone's time. And these videos, when I'm creating them, take a lot of time. But and I enjoy doing it. Don't get me wrong. I enjoy it immensely. But now I'm starting to see that everyone's doing the same thing. And I've never been the type of person, and my success in life has laid in is that if everybody's doing this, I always went the opposite way and found a different way to do that thing. Um, where do I take you guys? I've introduced you to Warm Audio, other bits of equipment like Clark Technic and other companies like Lewitt who are doing and producing and manufacturing great products and say, yes, this is a good product to use for this particular reason. But now it's the opinion of Warren against the opinion of how many other people saying the same thing. And that's becoming old real quick. And I'm not saying that, my like, oh, you're so hurt now that you got competition. No, it's not that. It's not that. It's just that this is not my full-time gig. It's not. I'm here to help people. You know, if I could sit here and gas myself up and gas up my ego talking about the people I know in this business and share war stories, that's whack because it doesn't create an equitable situation for you because it's not relatable. You can't relate. I can tell you the story, or stories, and it's like, okay, how does that help me? And that's been my goal in starting this channel is to help other people get to that level where, hey man, now you can sustain yourself. There are ways to make money in music. Youngsters just want to do beats. And you will be doing beats in mommy's basement from now to doomsday when you're 40 and nobody's paying you any attention. And I'm not saying that from a disparaging place. I'm saying it from the place that like, yo, you need to be able to stand on your own 2 feet, pay your own light bill, pay your mortgage or your rent, be able to take your girl out for a nice dinner every now and then without having to worry about Google sending you a check. And believe me, YouTube checks are not that big. A couple of $100. Really? Okay. It's enough for me to buy some groceries. I'm not starving, but at the same time, I'm saying the kids that are coming up, that are trying to make a career out of it, the music business has changed so radically. You know? And if you're a business person, if you've ever produced or executive produced anything, you need to find out how you're going to get your production money back. How? Spotify? Charging less than 1/1000th of a cent per stream? How do you monetize your music? How do you provide good information to people who are out here? That's the dilemma that I'm in right now. Because I'm not going to keep going out and okay, well, this new mic, this new this. I buy what I need. You know what I mean? Now I need to get my behind back to work, which means I'm going to be on the phone calling people, seeing what you've been up to, how you doing, did you get your shots, etc., etc. This is business. This ain't no hobby. So I'm trying to tap into you all's brains to find out, what do you want me to talk about. I want to help you. Other than that, I'm just sitting up here blabbing. I mean, it's cool kicking it with y'all. Don't get me wrong. I enjoy, hanging out. But my mission in life is to help other people. You know, not to inflate my ego with nonsensical foolishness or to babble about things I have no clue what I'm babbling about. So that's where I'm stuck. The only thing that I know to do right now is to do long form videos about how to do fill in the blank, how to arrange for ensemble, how to properly work with professionals in a studio situation. What do people who are paying you a production fee look for? You taking that person's $5,000 for this gig, what are you giving them in the end? And I'm finding that most people don't even want to talk about that. So that's the dilemma I'm in. I'm trying to help somebody get to the next level. And if you see people like Joe Carroll, who does the warm audio videos, I'm leaning in that direction, because I think when you do stuff like that, you give people hope that this can be done. This can be done on a particular level. But I'm coming and I encounter a lot of people who just want to do just one thing. Most of the kids coming through just want to do one thing. And there's so much money out there that is so far beyond just beats that, I mean, if I'm not catering to a particular demographic on YouTube, yes, my subscribership has gone down. I mean, I thank God for all 3,000 plus. But when I look at the metrics, it's going down. Because now they got the pick of the litter. Everybody's talking about the same thing. It's like, okay, you do, and I'm not going to sweat nobody. If that's what you want to do, that's fine. That's fine. But the community that I feel like I've been blessed to be with these last, what, you guys have been with me, some of you have been with me for over 4 years. Y'all don't y'all don't see me get old man bags under my eyes now, And I don't mind it. That's cool. That's wisdom as far as I'm concerned. Because I'm trying to help somebody. So I mean, hey, if there's something that you really would like to know, trust me on this, I'll put it to the community this way. If there's something you really want to know about this business and how to advance your career, and if you want to use it in a public forum when we're live streaming and talk about it, or if you want to send me a message, you're giving me ideas about how to communicate with you. This is not a one-way me talking at you. And I think I said that a long time ago. Me just talking at you, running my mouth, gassing up my ego. Oh, look, I got YouTube. Look at how many subscribers I got. That's corny. I don't have time for that. You know what I mean? Because if you're getting nothing from it in the end, like I said, what does it been? It's just me just inflating my ego, talking about, oh, look how many people tuned into Little on me. I ain't got no time for that. I'm too old. All right. So talk to me, John. There is only one way artists can make profit these days, and that's through John Swader. Yo, you got a point. You got a point. You got a point. See, you just gave me an idea. Now, there's two people that I haven't been in touch with Carlton Batts in years. But Randy Mahan was a very, very close friend of mine and the namesake of my son, Randy. And I've reconnected with him as of late. And I know he can put me in touch with one other person that cuts vinyl. And this guy is no joke. platinum all over the walls. Okay, so you just gave me a very, very, very good idea, John Swader. You deserve a gold star right now, man. Thanks for that. But yeah, cutting vinyl is a black art, and Randy can break it down for you. So maybe I'll reach out to him, and maybe I can somehow, after I get my tech, feet wet enough, I'll figure out how to maybe live stream with Randy. He's the guy, Randy Mahan, and the other person I'm talking about is Herb Powers. Randy could put me in touch with Herbie, and I don't know Herbie personally. I've worked on projects that he's worked on simultaneously with Ruben, or his artist name Singleton, right? Now, Ruben Singleton, when I was working with Ruben a few years ago. And the only other person that knows Herbie very, very well would be Carlton Batts, because they shared rooms at the Hit Factory, and Carlton and Herb Powers both came from Frankfurt Wayne, which I used a lot for projects in the past, including Dolores Bowman's um, record. And Duncan Stanberry was my mastering engineer at Frankfurt Wayne. So, John Swader, I appreciate. See, this is what I'm talking about. Communication. You gave me an idea. That could possibly help somebody if that's of interest to you. So, John Swader, I'll just I just saw me shoot water in my face. Anyway, John Swader, man, I appreciate you, brother. Thank you, man. Thanks for that. Um, T3 Ways Production says maybe you could do a series based around a new engineer or artist. That's another good one. Yes, sir. Yes, as ironically, here's some irony. Two things. I'm gonna share two things in this order. Last year, before this whole pandemic crap kicked off, um, I was gonna do a '90s chorus series with some really, really fly vocalists, man. Oh man, Angela Modest Watson. I had quite a few people in mind. Yeah, some really, really, really cool. And then this thing kicked off. I was gonna recreate some tracks by Tony Braxton and some other artists that I really liked, and just have them come in and do the voiceover at the same time, allow you to hear the gear being used in real time. That kicked off. But that's a very good that's part one. That's a very good idea. Now part two, um recently I was in touch with an artist who's at the beginning of their career. Okay, I'm gonna give you the long story short. I was listening to this girl, Andra Day, right? And her song. I know I may be a little late to the party for you youngsters that want to shout on me, all right? But Rise Up. Now, I'm listening to this song, and it's been streamed a gazillion and one times, and it's probably made this girl so much money it's not even funny. And I'm listening to it, I'm just like, you know what? This is a very, very simple song. And I think and I thought back um about other artists that were very successful with simple songs. And I was like, wait a minute. I challenged myself. Now, many of you, if you were on the board this week, you saw me doing some writing. So I sat down, I had to open up my sketchbook, which you saw, and in a day, I think I wrote a pop song. I don't think I know I wrote a pop song. I only used about 4 or 5 chords, and I kept the form AABA, simple pop form. Now, what I'm gonna do with that is build an entire pop song. I would like to build an entire pop song and have the artist do the vocals. I'm doing it in the vein. Don't now my muse for it was the song Rise Up. It's in that nature and that form as my inspiration. So when you hear it, I didn't copy it, I borrowed. I didn't copy, I borrowed. The chords, progressions are somewhat similar. I wrote the lyric for it, I wrote the melody for it. The melody will be reminiscent of what you heard her do, yes, but the challenge for me was to write a pop song in a day, and I did. I need challenges like that. So what I'm going to do for you is maybe like to your point, is document, that information. That was a very good idea. That came from T3 Ways Productions. Do a series based around a new engineer or artist that's at the bottom, as what steps you could take to build yourself up, your portfolio up on the path to. Cool, a portfolio. Okay, that's another good one. Listen, can do me a favor for John Swader and T3 Ways Production. Can you reach out to me on my community, well, the tab, the email on the community tab. Reach out to me with these ideas because that's going to help me. This way I could put some, these are good skeletal ideas that I could put some, you know, um, bones on. Thank you for your contributions. I appreciate you. Um, John Lance, the exceptional quality of your reviews will always bring you viewers on the products you've. Thank you, John. I appreciate you saying that. And your production and range of wisdom is really valuable. Yeah, it's a funny thing that you're saying that. I would like to share more of that, but I've realized that. Have you ever been in a situation? Oh, here's a perfect example. Do you all remember when Jennifer Lopez was on, I think, The Voice or one of those shows, and Harry Connick was on it at the same time? And some girl got up there and did a pentatonic style run. And then Jennifer Lopez was like, what's that? And then Harry Connick broke it down from a music theory standpoint, like there's 12 tones in the chromatic scale. And what she did was, and he broke down. Sometimes you can speak above someone's understanding. That's the danger in doing something about production and arranging. Because I'll give you an example. Um, Although I understand um, music theory to maybe a third level, like there's those people like Mervyn Warren, I'll give you from Take Six, that have like fourth, and fifth level of understanding of music theory to the point where they can arrange for a group like Take Six. You know what I mean? Because soprano, alto, tenor, baritone, that's four voices, and then you take in two more. What are the two extra voices doing in a group like Take Six? Makes you question. So it takes a level of skill to be to be able to arrange for an ensemble like that on that level. So the danger is always you don't want to start talking about above someone's understanding. However, I understand how chords work. I understand how harmony works. Do not call me for a gig where I have to produce for a contemporary pop band or rock band rather, because there's an element of production that you have to have been immersed in order to do that gig some service. Sometimes you could be outside your element. You may have an understanding of it, but how did Phil Spector get that sound? That was so reminiscent of him being a producer. He had a skill set that is his own. You know what I mean? So the danger in doing some things is that you don't want to take on projects as like, oh wow, your guitars are sounding all thin. Don't ask me to produce hip hop. I can't. Not that I don't understand it. I understand it, but Timbaland is the guy. You know what I mean? And a whole host of other people out here, they're the ones because they've immersed themselves in the genre so deep to the point where they have a level of understanding about how to make things work. You know. But listen, to your point, John Lance, that was kind of you to say. And yeah, I appreciate your contribution. So Chris Irwin Davis says, I made a living as a full-time musician, voiceover, and a studio owner 84 to 2001. And he did it with a 2 and 16 track Pro Tools and a Alesis ADAT. Boy, you talking about throwback? Throwback? I was cleaning out my storage closet, and I found like about upwards of 40 ADAT tapes. And something else, an old version of Cubase that was for the Atari. Go figure, right? So, yeah, man. Let's jump forward to John Swader. Okay, Prophet. Yeah, about the vinyl. Thanks, John Swader. Uh huh. Some sort of co-op. John Swader is another one. Some sort of co-op with established artists and new artists to keep the cost down. For the thing is, as more people, and this is to your point about the producing vinyl. Vinyl is expensive to produce and manufacture. The whole process is not cheap, and I think it's on a comeback. To your point again, and there's only a handful of people that really know how to cut vinyl. I think I'll listen. I'm gonna see if I could get Randy, at least to pre-record some information about how vinyl was cut, and Herbie too, if I can, if they could connect me some kind of way. I'm gonna find a way to get in touch with these people because these are the people that are they're the gods of vinyl cutting. Bob Ludwig. These are guys that were doing it back in the day. Um, there's a few others out there, mastering engineers, that are probably capable of doing it, that are maybe in their late 40s, early 50s. But I really, to be honest, and this is no shot on young folk. It'll if you find a 30-year old that's cutting vinyl and cutting it well, he will be the next guy. But I doubt that there are very few. There are probably very few, count them on one hand, skillful vinyl cutting engineers out there that are under 30, because the youngsters grew up on CDs. So you guys are throwing out gems. I appreciate you. Here's another one, John Swader. Maybe we could talk about loudness wars. Yes, sir. No, John is dropping gems. Back to the vinyl. The loudness wars have ended if you're trying to cut vinyl, because you cannot cut loud on vinyl. You can't. You can't. That needle will skip and scutch all over that piece of that master, and it's not usable at that point. You know. So John, you are throwing out some gems. I appreciate it, man. All right, so let's go. Armando. Ah, ¿cómo estás, mi hermano? All right, so let's go back. So that's my dilemma. That's my dilemma. I'm not going to keep you all too long. I have been blabbing for going on, let's see, 38 minutes. So, okay, you know. And let's get into just about the unboxing. But I'll tell you in a minute why I bought what I bought. Well, I'll tell you after I unbox it. I'll show it to you. Um, there's a company out here that I think re- that needs more credit that they're currently being given. Um, and I know the reason why they're not really given the credit that I think they're due. I think they're due this level of honor, because they're trying to connect the past to present. But I don't know how. I'm not in their marketing department. I'm sure they're doing a decent enough job to keep introducing product. But at the same time, I could imagine that it must be quite difficult to maintain step with changing times and changing um, opinions about how to work and workflows, just in general. Um, let's get into the unboxing really quick. And Armando says, "Bien, gracias. I'm glad, my brother. I am glad. Do not play with knives, children. Ain't no children on this channel." Yes, sirree. Yes, sirree. Oh, man. Put that heavy packing tape on this bad boy. It's in a small box. And this has been good. This has been good. It's been therapeutic for me. Yeah, man, because when you get stuck, B, you get stuck. You get stuck. It's like when I was in music school, you get stuck and then the light bulb go on one day. It's like, and the light bulb went on because now you guys gave me some good ideas that I could go back to and refer to. Yeah, but it's nothing like being stuck and scratching your head and be like, okay, everybody's doing reviews about warm audio. Okay. Everybody's doing reviews or tutorials. When does it become a matter of opinion? You know? When does it become a matter of opinion? It's like, okay, I'm just giving you my opinion. I might as well go to this guy and listen to his opinion. And then you listen to this guy. And the hatred, the utter hatred, that is so corny, man. That is so corny. You're like, people try and bait you into arguments. First of all, I'm too old to be trying to be arguing with people about brands, arguing with people about why I didn't do something a particular way. You don't like it, you tune out, B. I'm not asking you to stay. You know what I mean? There are some people that, have to take these things to heart. If YouTube went away tomorrow, I'm going to be all right. But there's a lot of people that won't be all right, you know? So it's like, I think I spent 2 weeks deleting just hateful comments, like delete or stupid stuff, just absolute absurdity. You know what I mean? I'm like, why are you saying that? You would only be saying it either to bait me or to get someone who's going to come behind you and read the comments and engage you. So I think I spent a week and some change, fielding stupidity. I was like, delete, delete. So right from now on, if the comments make no sense or they're not contributing or advancing the conversation, you will be shut down. Period. Point blank, full stop. Ain't got no time for this. Y'all got to remember, brother is over 50. There is a chronic case of OLD that you get at this point. And your tolerance level goes, I got no time for stupid stuff. You know what I mean? Then here come COVID. So I'm COVID angry. You know what I mean? Brother got to get back to work. But I love y'all for tuning in. I really do. I really do. So, the company. John Sweat, I'm going to make sure I got everybody. DSD. I got some news for y'all too coming in the future. I don't want to prematurely share it. I'm going to introduce it over time. But it's all good. The company that I am talking about and what I purchased was, I guess you all can see the candy, you know who it came from. Me friends at Sweetwater. I don't eat candy. But what I bought was the TC Electronic 2290, the desktop plugin. TC Electronic, folks, as I come back into focus, are doing things. Warren, why did you buy a 2290? Well, I didn't buy a 20. I wanted a 2290. I just didn't want to spring the 1500 you see on Reverb for. Why did you buy it? A, you all better look up the legacy of the 2290 and its overall functionality and ability. Bar none. And B, they were giving these things away. When I looked at it, I think when it first came out, it was like about $300, and I was prepared to spring that for it because I wasn't giving $4,000 for a Bricasti or some other $1,000 reverb unit just yet. Though that day will come, but I wasn't prepared to spend that money outright because I have to justify my expenses. But this thing, when I'm doing vocals, what I like to do, this is a lesson for the youngsters. There's this little thing called pre-delay that I don't think enough people pay attention to when you are setting up a reverb. Either you'll drown youngsters sometimes that are just getting their feet wet. They'll either drown the vocal in too much reverb, or they'll use the wrong type of pre-delay setting to the point where it feels like a little slapbacky. A way to minimize that, and I learned this from I forgot who it was. I reached out to long. I think it was either Dave Way, um, or Jeff Spalding. One of Dave Way or Jeff Spalding. I reached out to them through email one time. I was like, "Yo, your vocals on all your records always sound absolutely stellar." Um, it had to be Dave Way because I think it was Babyface stuff, and when he was in his heyday, and he was like, "Oh, well, what I do, I have two, and from that point, this was in the '90s, at the beginning of email, AOL email that is. Um, he said, what I do, I use a delay and a reverb simultaneously, or I will have multiple reverb lines so that everything's not being fed into one. From that point forward, my worldview just changed. I always had a reverb for the drums, a reverb for the instruments, reverb for vocals, and the vocal always had, I don't have it with me, my Delta Labs digital delay in the front of it so that it would give just this like space that the reverb wasn't giving it. Fast forward to me working in Pro Tools primarily right now. Um, like I said, I was looking for an original 2290, the rack mount unit. Saw the cost on reverb, was like, nope, I can't afford to pay that right this moment. Then this came out. I heard the thing. And then I thought to myself, just like I did with the DVR 250, I was like, wait a minute. This is just as powerful as the rack mount unit because you have the processing power coming off of a powerful computer. The processing power was in the rack mount unit back in the day. So imagine the horsepower of the computer, whether you got a beast or something therein, married with this thing, putting a touch of delay, whether it's left, right, front, back, or some sort of spatial delay with a touch of plate reverb on your vocals. Try that and tell me if you don't like it. It's going to give your vocals a lot more space. When you start to pan it left or right, to give the delay a little bit more room to move around in. As a matter of fact, you want to hear what I'm talking about in action, go and listen to, I rearranged This Day, Edwin Hawkins' This Day for Dolores Bowman. And you'll listen to the background vocals and listen, it's on iTunes. Listen to the background vocals and listen to Dolores's vocal as well. I use that technique. A touch of delay, just to give it something that when she hits the long note, your joy, and then you hear it end up over here. Or if you like a ping pongy effect to the beat of the because you have to set the tempo of the music. If you're using a ping pongy effect, split stereo, not too much delay feedback because then it becomes a little chorusy or comb filtery, just enough with a little bit of delay, with a little bit of reverb on top. Tell me if you don't like that. Tell me if you don't like that. It's going to give your vocals a lot more space. So, okay, so Rick Hugh, as you're and my age, you should buy every TC Icon series and use them immediately after you install them. Yeah. I mean, that's that. I found that to be true on the DVR 20. DVR on the DVR 20, and not only that, man, they just sound awesome. Sometimes things can become gimmicky, and it's like, oh yeah, this is just a gimmick, a little plug-in, or how cute it is, But the thing sounds really good. And I'm gonna be honest with you, I didn't think it would. I didn't think that the DVR 250 would sound good, and the 8210 that they released would sound that good, but they sound really good. And I'm put myself out there and say that comparing it to the quality of the Bricasti, which is maybe 10 or 100 times the cost, it's very cost effective and it sounds great. So you can't beat it. And compared to plugins, and believe me, as an HD user, I've had every reverb plugin there was to own. Okay, so there's it just dwarfs so many other products out there. So kudos to TC Electronic, the TC2290 DT for desktop is the bomb diggity. Rick Hugh, my brother, I'm glad you are here, and thank you for contributing to the conversation, man. I appreciate you. And Armando, yeah, you can use them in many instances. The only thing caveat about that, because I push this, I hate to say this, man. You got to have a beast of a computer to be able to handle many instantations of these plugins, because they become a little power hungry, you know. So, you know, keeping those things in mind. Yeah, so if you can get your hands on one of those, to Jabbar and the Benz, yeah, definitely grab it, man. So let's jump forward. Any further questions? I appreciate you guys giving me the ideas that you shared earlier, because like I said, yeah, it's about me trying to help folks, 64 gig. Yeah, I think I don't have enough RAM. I'm just working with 16. It shows you the type of products I'm doing, right? I don't use a lot of plugins like that. I'd rather get it right going in. But yeah, I think I need more RAM, because I'm a little light in the RAM department. 16 gig ain't cutting it no more. You know. Um, let's jump forward. Any further questions about the channel content? Maybe I'm gonna do a little bit more. And please, guys, bear with me. I mean, this is on the real, really quick. Excuse me. Just bear with me in terms of the turnaround time. Oh, my brother, Rick Hugh is from Taiwan. What? My brother. My brother. You stayed up this late to tune into it, but I think what you were 24 hours, so 7:54 a.m. Tell me if I'm right or wrong. I'm just doing a little calculation. You 12 hours ahead of me, you know. But listen, Rick, I appreciate you, brother. I appreciate you, man. Thank you, man. I appreciate it. But what's the point I was about to make? It'll come back to me in a minute. But jumping back. Anyway, any more questions? I'm just reading the comments. I ditched the ditch out 470 for the RAM. Wow. $470 for RAM? Yikes. Anywho, any further questions? Any further questions? So, okay. The point I was about to make was this. This is on the real. I appreciate you guys, your time. I appreciate you guys being here. Please understand that. That's my heart. Because I'm a person that does not like wasting people's time. I don't. And I know time is money. And I know y'all could be doing a whole lot of other things other than sitting here listening to me blab. So therefore, I want to make sure that I value your time and value you guys being here, And oh yes, okay, Rick Hughes. I get distracted and look at the comment. He says T's 7 in the morning. And so, brother, is right on the money. Having your morning coffee with a brother, eh? But no, I really appreciate you guys being here. And I want to make sure that I'm providing you with the best content. And sometimes that takes time, And there's no way, and unless you're a creator that has access to a crew who's editing, a crew who's responsible for this, that, and the third, and you just do the content, you show up, you're the talent, you turn around and hand it off to people. I'm not there yet. So I'm like a one-man band trying to do it all at once. But I definitely want to make sure that I give you and share the best content that's engaging, that's enlightening, and that when you walk away, you say, okay, that was time well spent. Because when I get comments, people say, "Oh, somebody was like, he called, he said that my videos were blah 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 bull, fill in the blank," and I chuckled and deleted him afterwards. Now I know that I don't run my mouth incessantly talking about a bunch of nothing. Why? Because I'm cognizant of time. That's just who I am. But at the same time, I want to make sure that although I've provided content on a particular level for a duration of time, that I take it up a notch. And that has nothing to do with the production or the design or the style of content. It has everything to do with the substance of what I'm sharing. So if what I'm sharing from a substance perspective is shallow, it's not enlightening, it offers no real insight, then I'm gonna check myself. Like, okay, well, why am I really here? You know. So that's the angle I'm gonna start working from this point forward. I have some bullets that were provided earlier by let me give them a shout out again. They were provided by John Swader as well as 3T3 Ways Production. I appreciate them for sharing, because now I can go back to the drawing board and say, okay, well, what can I reach back on and that I've experienced, or how can I share an experience in a more engaging way and give you insight on how to do it from on your end. So those are the things that I'm starting to entertain. So let's look real quick. Trusty Studio. What? Where everybody asks me where I've been. Where you been, brother? But I'm glad you're here, man. Armando, can you check out the MD3, MD4 by TC Electron mastering plugins? The only thing I didn't, and I don't know, I'm kind of like probably prejudging it. So, just bear with me for a second. The only thing was that when they introduced the finalizer, and then right behind them, Isotope kind of like took the idea and put it in a plugin form. I found that was overused. Now, I know people are using the finalizer in mastering situations, and I know the well, not the finalizer, the Isotope plugin, and they're still using the hardware finalizer. I think it's still for sale at a few places as well. Correct me if I'm wrong. I think Sweetwater has a hardware version of it, but I found that it can be overused. It's almost like you have all this stuff at your disposal that you almost like, oh, I have to use the multi-band compressor just because it's there, And I found when I had a Avalon 747 SP with the optical compressor as well as the equalization, it sounds great, but I felt like I had to use it. And I wasn't using it as a tool. I was using it just because I had it and it was usable. So I'm hoping that the plugins, I haven't used them. I hope that they don't one is not tempted to overuse them, as many people I found that came through when they were using the finalizer hardware, the rack mount version. I found that a lot of people were overusing all of the components afforded to them in that unit, and sometimes it's just unnecessary, and I didn't like the sound of it to boot. It was like harsh and very sterile and brittle sounding. So I'm hoping that the mastering plugins don't do the same thing to the audio that the hardware version did. Oh, okay. Armando says he has them. They're very powerful. Okay, I'm gonna look into it. I'll give anything a shot. With Sweetwater, if you don't like, well, I don't know, but if it's a hardware unit, you can't read. If it's a hardware unit, you can return software. You can't return software. So if they have a demo version, if it's software only, then I'll download it and I'll check it out. Most definitely. Okay, so let's jump forward. Blah 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 blah. Okay, so there we are, boys and girls. Amano said he's using them for his very subtle movements. Yeah, you got to have a very light hand, man. You know, and you. It's funny because my career. I spent a good portion of my career as a musician, as a drummer, right? I still play. Don't get me wrong. I play jazz now, but when I was transitioning from gospel to jazz, man, oh man, that was a struggle. My hands were so heavy, and then I had a Paulo Orlandi. You look him up. I studied with him for a little. He's like, you play so heavy in Italian. You play heavy. You play heavy. You play too loud. You gotta have a light touch. And I loved his touch on the drums. So what he would do to get me to lighten up, he would set the metronome very low on a speaker. And he said, I want you to play, and I don't want you to play above the metronome. I want you to keep time to the metronome that you hear. And I want to have a conversation with you while you're playing. So that's how my touch lightened up. And I've learned throughout the years that, yes, even with your approach to using plugins, and you can't be heavy handed, use it as needed. And like I said, even with plugins that I had from the HD system, okay, I found myself constantly reaching for the Avid plugins for EQ dynamics because it was not necessary. All I wanted to do was use it to tame a vocal or to maybe bump up the mids in a particular circumstance. So sometimes too much can be too much. That's my point that I'm trying to make. So it has been 1 hour, and I appreciate you all hanging out with me and listening to me blab and watch me unbox this. Let me see. Okay, that's a better shot right there. And all is good on this end. Looking forward to post-COVID life, interacting with friends again, and getting back into the flow of things, which is going to be a challenge. I'm not going to kid myself. I'm not going to even kid myself because then most of us, who have spent the year on lockdown know now that we have to start interacting with people. And I'm going to reach out to a few friends that opened their studios earlier, and I'm talking about commercial places earlier. What was it like? Because I'm starting to have to navigate a brand new stretch of water with everybody. Okay, so we're all in the same boat on this one, man. But it's good. This has been good. Omar, you talk about the cradle for this? I think it's pretty cool. It keeps everything neat and in one place. And a lot of people are now having these workstations where they have the racks, and things set up a particular way. It just neatens up stuff. I don't like cables all over the place. Although if you saw this place right now, you'd be like, yo, you got crazy cables everywhere, But yeah, to your point, I think the cradle thing you said is overkill. I happen to like it actually, But listen, this has been good. I got a lot of ideas. I'm rejuvenated. I'm excited. I'm gonna keep you all in the loop about what I shared about earlier with the pop tune that is in the vein of Rise Up by Andra Day. If she can get a piece of that bag, I want a piece of it too. I'm not going to be the one as a pop artist, but I will be producing it, and I've already found the person I'm interested in having do the vocal for it. A part of the arrangement might have choir to, grab a hold of my inspiration, which was Rise Up, in that vein. And we'll see how it goes. Pop songs are not complicated to write, and I just spent some time this week and I challenged myself. I have a decent amount of facility, and I said, write a pop song. I had the lyric, I had the idea, I had the sketch, but I fleshed it out this week. So let's see how that works out. And I promise to make that one very entertaining. So thanks for watching. Thanks for stopping by. Thanks for tuning in. If you haven't done so, please, for those of you who have been back, a few times, tell a friend to subscribe. And don't forget to say hello to your family for me. I appreciate each and every one of you, especially my brother, Rick Hugh, all the way from Taiwan. Thank you, my brother. I am honored by your presence, man, even if it's in a virtual way. So thank you for stopping by. Thank you for watching. Thanks for tuning in. See you guys next time. And again, don't forget to say hello to the family for me. Thank you.